this Khabib-Tony fight happening possibly in Russia? Break this down for us, because I feel like you are now officially a matchmaker.
Well, I mean, the one thing I said last night, let's not get greedy, Dana. Let's make this really simple. All we need is Tony and Khabib. We don't need an effing undercard. So you need in America. I don't know what they're doing in Australia. In America, they're doing 10 right now, like 10 people minimum, so our maximum. You can't have more than 10 people in a group. So you got Tony, Khabib, 3 judges, but you could also have the judges be remote, so you don't have to actually have them there. You have a referee, you have Dana, you have Bruce Buffer, and you have Joe Rogan, maybe, and maybe hey, look, we don't even give maybe we take the judges, make the judges remote at a remote location, and we give them each 2 coaches or something, or 1 coach. I think there's a way to do it to keep it under 10 people, and broadcast it.
See, I like this. This needs to be a Ben Askren, UFC collaboration. If you had to sort of put money on it, do you think this fight happens? Because gauging the MMA community's sort of feelings, everyone's like, there is just no way this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's just things are changing literally every 24 hours or something different. So I think we'll know a lot more, let's say a week from now. Like this Sunday night, I bet we'll have a much clearer picture of where it's going to go.
It is a fascinating matchup, a fight that people have been waiting for a long
awesome.
time.
Please,
do you know who wins that one? Do you think Tony
I
could
don't.
get it done?
I think it's fascinating. That's wwhy it's so exciting.
Well, is that sort of the main thing that you love about it? It's a bit of a pick and fight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's because it's 2 guys who are really good at what they do, and if you were to design a fighter to beat the other person, that's what you would design them to do. And so I think it's going to be really, really fascinating.
How do you feel like they match up on the ground? Because obviously, Khabib's ground is his bread and butter, but Tony's so willing to fight off his back. How do you see? Do you think Tony can implement his offense off his back against a guy like Khabib?
Yeah, I mean, so Khabib's obviously going to get the takedowns, and he's been so dominant with ground and pound. But at the same time, Tony is so active off his back, and he's good with the elbows, and he's got a lot of tricky stuff. And so I think it's going to be totally fascinating. I'm excited to see what happens.
As someone who understands, obviously, the wrestling and the grappling aspect so well, what if you had to sort of say, like, the key to beating Khabib, if there's one thing that maybe people have overlooked, what would you say it is? And do you think Tony sort of possesses that?
I think Tony's a great fit, because Tony's not going to stay put on bottom. Tony can take a lot of damage, which, Khabib will dish it out. Tony doesn't get tired, and then Tony's a high-volume striker. He's not a power puncher, which I don't think is the right mix to beat Khabib, because I think you have to kind of fight him hard, stuff a few takedowns, and volume strike him. And I think that's how you're going to beat him. And that's kind of what he does. That's what Tony does. So I think there's a possibility.
The crazy thing about Tony, like if you follow him on social media, is he's just got such unorthodox training. Did you see recently where he's
even doing? I posted them on last night. What is he even doing? Who knows?
Do you look at that as a fighter and go, this is extremely high risk stuff? Or do you see it and you're like, look, I understand, what he's doing here?
I have no idea what he's doing ever.
Is it safe to say at this point that Tony Ferguson, out of the whole UFC roster, will be the most likely guy to survive this zombie outbreak that we're dealing with right now after all this kind of training?
Yes.
I actually think Tony Ferguson is a part of like an Ocean's 11 type gang, and they're waiting to rob a casino while this whole strip thing shuts down during the virus. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that. Let me just quickly ask you this, and we'll let you go, Ben, because we do appreciate your time. Conor McGregor, where does he fit in all this for you? I mean, we're talking about the fact that this fight... Yeah, well, what if this fight gets cancelled? Does the UFC just jump to Khabib, Conor McGregor too? Or do you think Tony Ferguson keeps this title shot?
God, people are so interested in the Tony and Khabib thing, despite the star power that Conor would bring. I gotta think they match up Tony and Khabib again. I thought Conor would fight George, but that obviously didn't happen. So I'm not really sure why that didn't happen. And usually Conor kind of has an idea what his next target is, but it's been near 2 months since his fight, and we haven't really heard about what his target is going to be. So I find that to be interesting.
I know Ariel's been reporting that I don't know if it's Conor or the UFC, but someone's targeting potentially Conor versus Justin Gaethje. Do you have much interest in that fight?
Oh, I would watch that. Yeah, I would watch that.
What do you like about that one?
I think it is. I mean, I think it's like Conor's gonna hit him, but I think Justin Gaethje can take a lot of damage. Is Justin Gaethje gonna, wear through the damage and land a bunch of leg kicks?